Top tips for people who want to write. Number one, marry someone rich. I'm saying this partly tongue-in-cheek, but it's not a lucrative profession, and you have to do it for the love of it. If you have someone supporting you, either money-wise or time-wise in some way, it doesn't have to be a partner. It can be a rich patron of some form. It makes things a lot easier. Having said that, marrying someone who is rich in understanding of the artistic process also goes a long way, because they'll know that you need that time and space to create. Number two would be to protect the space and time that you've set aside for writing, which can become increasingly difficult with the demands of work and family, etc. It's really, really hard to say, okay, I've set this time aside when there are dishes in the sink, or some small human tugging at your sleeve, or even something to do for real money. But if you want to be a writer, you need to respect that space and make it sacred. Number three would be to value your work for the work itself. So it's very easy to get caught up in the idea of the book as product, and to forget that the process is often the most satisfying part of writing. And it's hard too, because you have a goal in mind when you're writing a story or a novel or a poem, and that's to get it finished and to make it the best possible thing you can make it, so that you can send it out into the world and hopefully communicate with someone. But publishing is not the be-all and end-all. There is real satisfaction and joy to be had in creating something and refining something when it comes to words, and you need to acknowledge that, because if you don't, you might get too tied up on that other side of things, the dark side. Number four is chocolate, and or some other form of stimulant, your choice, that helps you. Coffee's good. Coffee's good when you're not, maybe you haven't had as many hours as you wanted and you come to your writing session. But whatever you need to keep you going in those minutes or hours. Also, we're at number five. So thinking about the fact that every work will be different. Each work is a new journey, and what you find there will not necessarily be the same as what you've done before, which doesn't mean that you don't learn as you progress as a writer, as you gain an experience, because of course you do. But if you're a writer who's worth their salt, then you're going to challenge yourself every time you start a new project, and therefore you'll be coming at it with a different sort of set of ideas and set of parameters, and will want to challenge yourself differently. Finally, as a writer, it's really important that you not be thick-skinned. So this might seem impossible, because everyone knows that writers probably experience the most in terms of rejection over and over and over again. Whether it's from your mother who doesn't like what you've written, or a big publisher or a big editor. So how do you do this? How do you manage to keep going and keep sending out your work and keep putting yourself out there in the world without becoming thick-skinned, without closing yourself off to possibility, without you know, remaining vulnerable, which I think is really important. As a writer, you have to be open to the world. You have to be porous. You have to let things in. You have to empathize. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes. You have to make emotional leaps all the time. So I guess my suggestion is that instead of, you know, wearing one of those coats that the water just bounces off, you try to be resilient or sort of rejection resistant, so that you can deal with the rejection, and it hurts, but then you get up the next day and you keep going. That's all.